What is going on, fam? Today we're at Sprouts Farmers Market and we've been talking about what ingredient labels you should look at when you go to the grocery store. I'm gonna follow around canola today and see what we can find.
All right guys, we're in the meat section. Let's see what we got here. So you've got your 100% grass-fed beef. Now something I always look for is I wanna make sure it's 100% grass-fed beef and not, it doesn't say grass-fed, but then you find out the cattle's actually grain finished. So if you look here on the back, they've got a little label. It says 100% grass-fed. This is pretty good stuff.
So if it doesn't say 100%, that means it was finished with grain.
More than likely, yeah. And then this is 93% lean. Not bad if you're trying to cut back on the calories from fat. I like to go 85%. It's oftentimes even cheaper because it's not the popular option. But again, fat from meat is really good for your body. It's how your hormones are synthesized. It's a great way to go. I go 85-15, 100% grass-fed beef. It's good stuff.
How about this USDA Choice one right here?
It's even on sale. USDA Choice, I know it sounds popular, it sounds USDA Choice, but it's not something I would touch. 99% of the time this beef, even though it says premium quality, is grain fed and it's factory farmed. It's not good conditions, it's not quality meat.
That seems to be what they put in all the big steakhouses.
It's true, because it's cheaper and it's easier to come by.
All right guys, we're walking down the chips aisle and the snacks. What are you gonna look at when you're in this aisle, Canal?
So usually 90% of things on these shelves down the snack items list, I likely wouldn't buy or eat. Just at a first glance, I can tell it's gonna be stuff that I wouldn't put in my body. But let's take a look here. So we've got some Simple Mills. Simple Mills is not bad. You know, I tend to avoid too much of the nut flours, but if I were gonna do something like this, you know, you got the ingredients listed very clearly here.
Should people avoid tapioca starch?
Tapioca starch, I mean, it's better than eating, I would say, wheat starch, wheat flour. But then again, you know, you're consuming starches. You got the sunflower oil, which I don't necessarily recommend either. But if I were gonna do a chip or a cracker and I was going for something gluten-free, I would pick this over a lot of the other options. You got like Annie's and these other companies here.
So why wouldn't you pick Annie's? Let's take a look at
what's going on here.
Ingredient label.
All right, so right off the bat, you can see organic wheat flour. And as we've discussed in this channel before, the wheat has gluten, has phytates, a lot of indigestible aspects in that grain. Then you've got expeller pressed sunflower oil. Again, the sunflower oil, seed oils. And then you've got pasteurized organic. It's like a cheddar cheese powder. It looks like they made yeast. I'm not a big fan of organic yeast.
And kind of like you said, it's a laundry list of ingredients. That's
Right.
typically a red flag.
Right, exactly. And you got like
The last one had 6 or 7. This one has about 20.
monocalcium phosphate. You see they're using things to keep it preserved. It's not terrible, but again, likely not something I would eat. I would go for something like the Simple Mills over the Annie's. I usually don't go too heavy on the sweets, but if I'm really craving something sweet like crunchy chocolate chip cookies, Simple Mills again, this is something that I would take a look at. If you see here, they got the coconut oil, which I like. Not too many ingredients, all things that are legible. We know what they are. Pretty clean. Not my first choice of a dessert or a snack, but if I were to get something, it's pretty good right here.
All right, Canola, so I know everyone loves chips and there's a lot of options here. What's the problem, or what do you see going on with Kettle here?
Let's find out. We'll grab a bag of Kettle brand potato chips. Looks pretty good, the marketing's nice. Nice clean bag. Let's see what we got here. Potatoes, and immediately, second ingredient, vegetable oils. Canola, sunflower, and or safflower oil.
Definitely want to stay away from that, guys.
Yep, and then you got yeast extract.
But what do we have on this side?
Come down this way, you know, immediately, I know Siete because they're grain-free, and for a long time I ate a grain-free diet, so let's see what they got here. Cassava blend, so you got cassava flour, cassava starch, avocado oil, coconut flour, chia seed, and sea salt. Really short list, all pretty good ingredients, nothing too bad. This is usually what I would go with. Siete chips, not too much of the flavoring.
And you guys can tell, like, when you flip one over, there's 20 to 30 ingredients. You flip the other over,
For example, right here,
about 6.
Mosaic real veggie chips. I thought this might be pretty clean. Let's take a look. Flip it over, like on the front. Tomatoes, green peas, looks like, all right, just
Looks
veggies.
pretty good.
Extra virgin olive oil. But then here, you look at the ingredients list, and you got potato flour, rice flour, seasonings, not too bad. But then you got natural flavors they added.
And that's another marketing gimmick, because natural flavors sounds nice, right?
Of course, but we don't really know what's going in those natural flavors or how they're made. Generally, natural flavors are synthesized in a laboratory. All right, guys, we just stopped off at the local jerky area, so let's see what they got here. We got some chomps, grass-fed and finished beef. This looks pretty good. This is all stick without the ick. Let's see what the actual ingredients say. Grass-fed and finished beef, water, sea salt, encapsulated lactic acid, cultured celery powder, black pepper. Yeah, so there's quite a few ingredients here, but all of them are whole food based. Pretty clean to me. I would eat it. All right, guys, I'm stoked to show you guys some of the good oils that I would cook with and eat with. So olive oil, really great to put on your dishes. Not something you want to cook with usually because it's not high heat. tolerant, so let's see what we got here. I know they got some good stuff. Coconut oil is great, but here you go. You got the tallow. This is what I'm going for. The beef tallow is really good. It's high heat, great to cook with, great for your body. Ghee also is wonderful. This is grass-fed ghee too. I love this company. It comes in a glass jar. This is really good stuff. Coconut oil, beef tallow, ghee, those are my top 3 for cooking.
So do you see any oil here that it looks healthy and it says it's coconut oil or pure or whatnot, but it's actually a gimmick? Like for example, there's stuff in plastic down there.
all of this down here. The canola oil, organic canola oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, safflower oil. I wouldn't touch any of this.
Look how great the marketing is though.
Wouldn't touch it. Even though it's organic, it's not something I'd put in my body.
How about even the olive oil? Is there anything people should look at when it comes to olive oil?
You know, you've got so many choices for olive oil. I tend to look for, of course, organic. Something imported from France or Italy is what I like, from Europe. You got some good pricing here. Olive oil, you know, I think you have so many choices. You can't really go wrong as long as it's organic. You can take a look at the bottle, see, make sure there's nothing else added to it. Something like this. I like the more craft style, usually coming from a smaller, not such a large
glass
factory.
bottle.
Yeah, not coming from a big factory like Kirkland or something like that. This is the dairy section, so I'm a big fan of dairy. I eat a lot of cheese, a lot of yogurt, a lot of milk. Most of this stuff I wouldn't touch. You've got like the nut milks, the creams, which I think it's a misnomer, you know, nut milk.
Let's turn one over and see what we got
here. So, almond and coconut creamer. You've got coconut cream, almonds, not terrible, but then you got the natural flavors again. Acacia gum, not something you want to put in your gut. Dipotassium phosphate, preservatives, sunflower lecithin, and gellan gums. Not good.
A lot of fillers for your gut, huh?
Yeah, a lot of things that just aren't digestible, aren't good for you. Now, if you come down here, this is where the business is. Raw Farms. This is my favorite stuff. It's a little bit on the pricier end, but it's really high quality raw milk. They do a hold and test at Raw Farms, which is amazing. So you know you're getting quality product that hasn't been contaminated with bacteria. Raw kefir's great. I really go for the raw milk here. My son even, who's 15 months old, we give him raw milk and he loves it. All right guys, of all the cottage cheese, Good Culture is my favorite. This is Kunal approved right here. So I like the whole milk. This one here, it's really clean. You can tell there's really not much in here, just organic milk, organic whole milk, cream, sea salt, and the active cultures. Good Culture is great, and it's organic. It's got a huge selection on eggs. I tend to go straight pasture raised, either organic pastures or Handsome, and you can tell just inside the box here, if you look, they show you how handsome are your eggs. Not cute, conventional and cage-free, feed and land, free range, and then you go to organic and pasture raised, and that's where Handsome is.
What's one that you wouldn't get?
Really, most of these up here, even though it says free range, it may look like it's clean. Pasture raised is great. Free range, it's really not giving those chickens much room to roam. Cage free, really not at all. You want to go pasture raised so they have plenty of room. All right guys, we're checking out the fruit. So most of the stuff I'm walking past because they're not organic, likely sprayed with pesticides. There's a list that comes out every year called the Dirty Dozen. I like to take a look at that. It tells you the 12 vegetables and fruits that are most often sprayed and sprayed with the most pesticides. Those are the ones that I avoid, of course. Now coming down here, let's check out what they got in the organic aisle. Bananas are a staple in my house. I always go organic. Love bananas. Organic apples and pears also. I usually go for a bag like this. See, it looks like most of the fruit's been cleaned out. Organic papaya is wonderful. Love these, really good. And the price isn't too bad. It's $1.99 per pound. You can get one of these small ones for $4 or $5.
So what alcohol would you get, Kunal?
Skipping right past the alcohol. We're just walking down the aisle, not getting anything to drink. Thanks for going shopping with us at Sprouts, guys.
So we hope you gained value from this. This was completely unscripted. We just wanted to give you some ideas of what you should and should not look for. It was pretty obvious to see, Kunal, when you turn over those ingredient labels and there's a bunch of stuff in there, you gotta stay away.
Yeah, you know, it's not rocket science.